I'm Tony Wang for Twit, and before you buy, and today I'm reviewing the Fujifilm X-M1 rangefinder mirrorless camera. This is a third model from Fujifilm, following the footsteps of the X Pro 1 and also the XE1. Now this camera has the same CMOS sensor that's 16.3 megapixel, and it's APS-C size. You have a very large sensor in a very small body. And the ISO goes up to 25,600, and as I always say, don't ever shoot at that high ISO. That's just way too high. That's not the native ISO of the sensor. This sensor is actually the same sensor as the XE1, and also they're very good point and shoot, which is not removable. The lens is not removable. The X100S. That camera is awesome. Why would anybody buy this? You would buy this if you're really going into digital photography, but you want something a little bit more than just the point and shoot. So these mirrorless rangefinder cameras are actually replacing, sort of taking over the space of these entry-level DSLR, which they're very comparable in price. These two are both about $800. MSRP, and you can find them less. In street price is probably 700 or so, and they all come with a zoom lens as the kit lens. More about the XM1: you have no electronic viewfinder, but you do get a 3-inch tilt display on the back, and also currently there's two lenses that was released with the XM1. You have the kit lens, which is actually a newer model of the previous kit lens. This is 16-50, and there's also a 27mm pancake that you could get, which is about the equivalent of a 50mm. As I mentioned before, the sensor is carried over from the XE1, which is a really good APS-C sensor. I know it's only 16 megapixel, but the quality of the sensor really matters when it comes to image quality, and you can see the quality in even just large JPEG if you're just shooting JPEG. So, I mean, I would definitely shoot RAW with this camera. There's a couple design issues, such as the lens release. I keep on hitting it with my hand because I'm used to holding my camera with just my right hand. The pop-off flash, even though it clears the lens, it does feel a little flimsy. Pros and cons with the XM1 Pro: the price range and the sensor quality. The sensor is amazing. And also just the overall layout of the camera, where all the controls are. They're all very logical, and there's no steep learning curve when you're trying to figure out where you change the settings. And the only con I can think of is the build quality, because it's much lower price point than the X Pro 1. Like, the battery door is a little loose at times. I get a little worried about that. Buy, try, or don't buy for the Fujifilm X-M1. I'm gonna give this camera a buy. If you're looking to get into digital photography seriously, or even just as a real hobby, it is really worth looking into all the mirrorless rangefinder digital cameras out there. I know everybody always talks about DSLR, but end of the day, now that we're on digital, there's really no need for a mirror, especially when the display technology is so good now, and you have tilting displays and high resolution displays, and even, you know, electronic viewfinders. There's no need for mirrors. I'm Tony for Twit, and before you buy, and this is the Fujifilm X-M1.